We are going to take a tour of the most important location within Lord of the Rings Online, in my opinion. Bree-Town is the heart and soul of Lord of the Rings Online. This is one of the most main areas you're going to probably be in the whole time, but you get introduced to it early on when you play. So come on this quick little tour with me, everyone. But before we can do that, make sure you hit the subscribe button. It helps the channel so much. I cannot emphasize it enough, and I appreciate everyone who has subscribed. Now let's go see what Bree-Town has to offer. Welcome to Bree-Town, everyone. We are currently outside of the south gate of Bree-Town, and this is actually where you can come in from like the Lowlands, Rivendell side, especially if you're coming even further, like by Moria, Lothlorien. You would make your way through this side of Bree-Town. And as you can see, we got the guards standing here. We got a lot of players coming through. And immediately you can kind of see that we have like some of the barters and vendors like out over here. And then here is a legendary forger. But before we do that, I'm gonna take a hard left. This is actually an access point. This door can get you into the auction hall and a vault, our bank area. So this is kind of like the main auction hall area. Yep, Bree-Town Auction Hall as it is labeled. And as you can see, you have some auctioneers that you can go, you know, do your selling and all of that fun stuff. And then over in this little area, here's your little vault guy. He is always sitting here reading through the records, making sure that, you know, you're storing things correctly and that his records match it. So he's an important job. And then of course you got a mailbox service over here as well. And then we're actually gonna go out this door, and this will take us around the building. So here you can tell that this is the other entrance to the auction and vault area, but this is originally where we came from. We came from this side, and then there's like a whole pathway down over here. This is like the main area. I feel like most people travel through this area. This is the way that you would get to like the crafting area, the crafting hall that's up ahead. Before we go there, we're actually gonna go to the left path. There's not too much over here, but like mostly over here is just like a little rep area. We do have this little shade that's just chilling over here, but he actually will guide you over to some of these reputation vendors. So I'm gonna hit their names, but these are to get rep for the Men of Bree. And then here we have a hunting lodge, which we're gonna access real quick. Nothing too crazy over here. Another vendor for you, but this is sort of like the main area for like Bree-Town rep, Bree-land, Barrow Downs rep. This is where you want to kind of go to bother all of that. Nice, we got a little oven over here for crafting, and you got a little forge over there, so you can definitely get some crafting done in here too. Nothing too crazy, but I will lead you guys to the crafting hall because I guarantee you this is where you're gonna want to go. So we came from over here. This is where the auction hall is, where my cursor's at. We're actually gonna go left where this lost shade is headed. This is essentially kind of like a shortcut around. Then here you can tell we're by the jail, but here you can talk to some of the brigands here. We're just chilling, you know. This guy's hanging his head in shame trying to pick the lock. Hey sir, you're gonna be featured in this video. I hope you don't mind. Oh, apparently he does mind. He's like trying to choke me. So making my way back, this is essentially where we came from. We started at the south gate over here. That is the auction hall. We went down that pathway, which got us over to the vendors, and we essentially made a big loop over to the jail. Before we head forward, I want to show you that up this way, essentially like this little alleyway that we came up by, down here, the jail was kind of over that way where my cursor is. But we just went up this pathway, and it's essentially kind of like a shortcut through some alleys. You can kind of see some of the laundry's just hanging out, like, whoa. But this will actually take you to a shortcut. Here, you actually kind of went forward a little bit past the jail. Over here is your gate over to Staddle, which I'll show you real quick on the map. So we're currently right over here. We're making our way to Staddle. Where we essentially went when we started over at the South Bree Gate over here. We went around to the rep area, and we made a shortcut over to the jail over here. What we did then was we kind of made our way back, and then there's like a shortcut over here that we cut through, and then we got to this main road onto Staddle. But now I'm gonna make my way backwards, and we're gonna essentially end up over at this little corner area. Oh look, another pathway. We just have to explore all these pathways. Ooh, what's over here? A gate? I have not seen this. Why is this gate closed? Interesting. Maybe future expansion or quest area? So here we just made our way down that path over from Staddle. This is essentially like the main, like, I almost think of it like a triangle or like crossroads kind of area. So as you can see, way out here is the jail. And then there are two pathways that you can take from here. You can go left or you can go right. Most people frequent right. That's where the crafting hall area is. It's right down that road. So this broker's office here, I'll show you on the map. This is where you're essentially going to get like all of your housing areas that you can look at. So let's take a look inside. These are all of the vendors that you can access and buy a home from. You can even tour homes from this area, but this will essentially give you like a good area to compare and contrast like the cost of certain homes in other areas. Now for the most important part, which is the Bree-Town Hall. I almost like to think of the hall of like the absolute like proper place in Bree-Town, because here is kind of like where the mayor hangs out. The mayor is actually up these stairs. This is what happens when you become the mayor of Bree, okay? Just don't run for mayor, guys. But here what's super important to mention is that this is where you can get your kinship stuff figured out. So this is a clerk of kinship vendor. I'm going to show you what that means. So in order to start a kinship, you have to have a charter. First, you need to buy one. As you can tell, you need to be a minimum level 5, but you need to buy this in order to start, you know, inviting people and actually making your kinship like on paper. So here is a notary, and this is essentially where you go for choosing your last name and actually like getting kids in the game. This is where you go to abandon them anyway. But this is where you could go to, you know, become emancipated, or, you know, be a parent who just abandons their children. Or you can go and get a last name, which I would hope that you only come here to do that, is to get a last name. Alright, so that was the Bree-Town Hall for you. I just want to show you real quick where we're at on the map before we proceed. This is where we were. This is the Bree-Town Hall. This is where the notary and clerk of kinships is. And then we are going to go on our right to go and see the outfitter area. We can see these mannequins out here looking snazzy. If you've ever wanted some good old cheap cosmetics, this is where you would go. So here is just a bunch of vendors, and I'm not gonna lie, you're really never gonna come in here. The only reason why I would recommend anyone to come in here is if you really needed a vendor right away over from like coming from Staddle area, you could come in here and get it. And then there is the outfitters too. So if you are someone who likes cosmetic outfits but you have absolutely like no good cosmetic outfits that have been given to you, you can't find any, this is sort of like your basic area that you could go to purchase cosmetic items. So yeah, so just a reminder, yet again, we are near the Bree-Town Hall. I'm sure that you can see it all over the screen. And we're going right from that like little crossroads triangle area. This is the main path that you're mostly gonna take, but here, you are going to get to like the main freaking area of Bree. Here on our right is the crafting hall. You're gonna memorize this. You're gonna love this place. It's fantastic. This is the crafting hall. It's so awesome, y'all. This is like the hub of hubs, in my opinion, for crafting halls. On your left is like the forges, and this is important for like your tinkers, your weaponsmith, your armorer, all of those people that are going to need a forge. On the right is kind of where you get to your more like forestry stuff. Tailors use workbenches. Workbenches are over here. And of course, you got your handy dandy vault master. This guy is my savior. I always come to him. He's got the greatest attitude whenever I try to store my stuff. I don't see him going around my papers like, huh, looking a little stressed. Like, he's always calm, collected. He's just like, geez, why do I gotta stand here all day? Maybe one day I'll sit down. Come on, devs, get that man a chair. Then if you're a cook, you got your little cook area over here. And then this is your go-to supplier. She's a savior, we love her. And then your scholars, you have your little scholar bench over here. And then of course you have to have a crafting hall with an auctioneer. And this lady is always up here. Come on, we even got seats? Like, this is like the most royalist auction hall area ever. But yeah, so this is definitely your go-to crafting hall area. We love it. And this is where the crafting hall area is marked on the map, is where my little red icon is. Something else I'd like to mention is this is the second watcher, Heathstraw. He's actually like a super important person that you're probably gonna have to turn in a good amount of quests to. He's right across from the auction hall, so it's kind of hard to miss him. It's right by the Boar Fountain, but there is a mess hall that you can access. In the mess hall, it's just essentially like a really cool looking area. Not much to do in here, but you know, it can be some good like screenshots and photos if you ever so choose. All right, and outside the mess hall from the crafting hall, we are actually going to make our way to the Boar Fountain. Here is where you get a lot of access to a lot of vendors. As you can tell at this market square area, there's a lot of people here today. This is the Boar Fountain. This is like the infamous Boar Fountain that you're ever going to see. This is so highly talked about, and it's like an iconic landmark. This is the Boar Fountain, where all of these vendors are. And then of course over here we have a task board. This is like where the main task board is for Bree, if you are so inclined to do so. And then right by the task board you have the training hall, which you have to come in here every single time to talk to your trainer to get your new skill. Luckily we do not live in those times, but here is my trainer. She is definitely enjoying a drink at the bar because, you know, as a trainer you don't do much anymore. Now there's various places that we need to make our way to, but I'm actually gonna go to the left over here. This is essentially like the comb gate entrance, and showing that on the map, I'm just right over here. This is my red icon moving down back towards the Boar Fountain where the crafting hall was, and we're actually gonna go straight across over here. I'm making my way downtown, walking fast. So this is the gate that'll lead you directly to the Prancing Pony. The Prancing Pony's over that way. Before we head over there though, this is where the training hall was. I want to make a quick pit stop at this market. Now this place is heckin' cool, and if you want some good old cosmetic outfits that are actually going to cost you a pretty penny, this is the market where you do so. And this is actually like a later edition, so it's kind of a little bit more hype. Like, you got people dancing in here. This is where you would kind of go around. You can click on some of these like outfits. Like over here I'm like, ooh, I really like that. You click on it and then you could see how much it's worth, and everything here is worth mithril from my understanding, so that's why I say it's gonna cost a pretty penny. I always like to think of that as like the pretty penny VIP mithril cosmetic outfit market. So here we're gonna make our way all the way over, like I mentioned previously. We're making a straight line to the left. This is a low gate. I will mention one of my favorite spots over here is there's this door. This is like a really just neat thing. There was like some trainers here. Of course, there's a couple of quests that you might pick up over time. The hobby master is here too, Henry. Get you your hobbies going, get the fishing together. And then if you actually go out this door that's on the left, because we were over on the right, if we go to the left, we are now upstairs. So there is like a second story to Bree. This is where you would go to replay like any of the instances that are in Bree. This is the little mirror. And then of course this little alleyway, the high bridge, this will actually take you near the west gate of Bree. So we'll get there, but this little alleyway has a couple doors too, so I'll come back to it. But this is essentially where we just entered that door. And we're gonna keep making our way down this path. So all right, so now we're on a different area of Bree. I like to think of this like the less dense area of Bree. This is kind of like your mission people. They always stand near this statue, so it's kind of nice to have them over there. And then we're gonna go down that alleyway. There is a little door over here. This is a part of a quest, but I always love the little doggy that's here. This is part of a quest that you'll probably get access to at some point. So just know that this is a little door, secret door area that you can access. And then this is actually my favorite location in Bree. Like, I always want to know when they're gonna open this up, because these dwarfs have been standing here guarding this gate forever and I don't know why. Oh yeah, and then there's this door over here too that gets you to the another estate, but this does not have the housing brokers here. This is just another area for quests, but this little hobbit has such a big freaking house. It just blows my mind. Yeah, so there are those little dwarfy dwarfs just guarding the gate, but this is the really awesome area. This is the mud gate. This is Beggar's Alley. I love this place. There actually, I don't know if there is anymore. Let's figure this out. If you went down over here, there were brigands that would actually attack you. It was quite crazy, but I always loved coming over here because I'd just be chilling here, and then all of a sudden I went down this alley and then some brigands were attacking me. I was like, wait, there are enemies within Bree-Town. It's awesome. It's kind of nice because you can kind of see like the brigands that are taking over. You can kind of just understand more of like, oh yeah, like you can tell that Bree-Town has some good and some bad. But to mention, this is actually something for a deed that you will need to access, so just keep this in mind. This is like the crest, I believe, that you need to find. So it's right over by Beggar's Alley, and then you can actually just go all the way over here and end up in a different total part of Bree-Town. But this is like the pathway over to the West Gate. We're gonna go down some of these, but before we do that, I just want to show you guys that this is exactly where we were previously. The mission trainers are over here by the statue. I'm going to show you guys the statue. There's the statue. So we're essentially, this is where the mission recruiters are. We went to Beggar's Alley, and then we kind of took like this way around to get back onto the main road. So here is another unique part of Bree that I don't feel like many people go down, but this is the Taxidermy Office. So if you collect any like special hides or anything in regard of like trophies for certain mobs, you could redeem it here. And then across the Taxidermy Office is another weapon and armor shop, of course. So this is another area that you could kind of sell, vendor, and of course an outfitter as well. Nothing too crazy here. We make our way straight. This is where your West Gate area starts to come alive, but this is where the auction and vault storage area is here. So here is the Bree-Town vault. So this is kind of like the main vault area, and then they do as well have an auction area as well. They've got seats too, but these people didn't sit together, but they got chairs as well here. And then escrow, of course, gotta love escrow. But yeah, so here's like the main vault. You can't get access into it. I've tried, but this is where you would go to access the Bree-Town vault. And just like that, we're right by the West Gate, everyone. We went out the opposite door and we ended up over here at the West Gate. So this is kind of where you come in from like Arid Lewin. You're gonna come in through this direction. Meikle Delving, you end up coming in from this direction as well. Evenden, all of those snazzy areas for Kel even. We kind of made like a big loop around. That was the vault, of course, and then here is just a lot of farms. So here you actually have a couple of different crafting areas, like resources that are available. So you have a workbench, and you have your forge, and then you've got the scholar bench, but that's about it. So it's kind of like a very miniature crafting area, and of course I forgot about the oven up here, but that's available too. And then here's kind of like your mini like vendor that you can kind of access right off the gate once you come through West Gate area. And then if we take our way up here, this is where the farmland is in Bree. So this is where you go to farm. All of your major supply needs are over here to this guy, the supplier, and then you've got a couple of different farmland areas that you can access. You can see it got a little couple of Shire like homesteads here. We got a couple of hobbit holes. I love it. But there's just kind of like this own little unique like hobbit area essentially. And then there is the other gate over here for Bree, which isn't very readily accessed. This is the North Gate. If you're heading towards like Estelden or Trestle Bridge area, anything like North Bree, you could make your way over through here, but most people probably go around and just go through the West Gate anyway. It's just a little easier sometimes. I'm on top of the world of Bree-Town. So as you can tell, we essentially did like a whole big walk around here. This is the West Gate, and I showed you some of the farmland and stuff. If we go straight, we're actually gonna run into the Prancing Pony over here. But as you can tell, we're gonna go down this little pathway real quick. I promise you, this is actually the second story that I was talking about that you can access through the Scholar Archive area. So how you access it is if you're by the West Gate, you go just a little bit past the oven and there's these set of stairs. These are the stairs that you would go around. There's some pretty cool areas here. I really wanted to highlight this door As you can tell, there's a very sweet little looking kitty here. There are so many cats. It's the cat lady's house, everyone. This is one of my favorite little spots in Bree that are just so cool. Like, I just love it. It's so nice. And there's so many kitties, and they're all by a fireplace, just, you know, napping away, enjoying the good old life. There's also this door, which is the Scholars Hall, which is so cool. It's just a really cool looking like scenery. There is a whole hall here. I was not kidding when I said Scholars Hall. I feel like this is a place where Gandalf would kind of keep an eye at and just kind of relax. All right, and the Scholars Hall is right across from the old cat lady's house. And then if we keep making our way over here, you will find that we end up over by the mirror and the Scholars Archive area. So we're over by the West Gate area over here, and we took the Scholar Stairs over to the High Bridge. And then we made our way back over to this path by falling off of the bridge. Now we're by the Boar Fountain, and we're going to make our last trip over to the Prancing Pony. All right, there's the market square yet again, and now we're going forward to the Prancing Pony. Welcome into the Prancing Pony. I feel like this is where a lot of community events happen because, I mean, you know, the Prancing Pony is just awesome, so of course there are events happening. But there's also a stage over here. It's so cool. See, people be playing music all the time, I'm telling you. And the Prancing Pony has this awesome bartender. I love Butterbur, he's awesome. So you could talk to him to get some ale. There is a barber over here as well. I love this guy. He's always helped me with my trims, and he's done a fantastic job. And of course, everybody's partying. Everyone's enjoying their day. Here, if you actually access the stairs, there's a couple different doors I just want to show off real quick. I always see this brigand here. He always looks so, like, just upset. I don't know why. It's a nice little fireplace over here. A couple of more dancing patrons. If you go over to the left, this is a back entrance out of Prancing Pony. This is like a side entrance, more or less, on the other side. So the guy who was playing... Where'd he go? He's gone. Oh, there he is. See, just the lag, you know, but it's okay. We loaded in. But he's over here. So we went to this exit. Here we have another hobbit, you know, just dancing away. I love it. And then this is essentially a pretty important part of the story, and you will catch this room in the cutscene. But this is essentially like where the hobbits, or like the beginning of the Fellowship, was sleeping, essentially, where I think it was the Witch King. He came into the rooms and he tried to stab the beds. These are the beds that they were staying at, all of the hobbits. Pretty crazy room to kind of think about, just FYI. You will definitely see it in a cutscene. You'll see the whole animation. It's quite odd. It's a little funny when you look at it, because it just looks so weird. Like, he's literally just stabbing like pillows. It's just weird. And then over here is Strider's room, and this is where you'll go for some of like your epics and stuff. Essentially, when you are like in the prologue, you would have to come in here a couple different times to talk to Strider. I love the bear man. He's just so like vicious. And then if we make our way up these stairs, we are going to see a prominent figure. It's Gandalf the Grey, everyone. All right, so we're gonna make our way back because we made our way all the way down that hallway to the Prancing Pony. So by those stairs was Gandalf's room, Strider's room, the Hobbit's little room was over there. Nothing else. There's this angry looking brigand guy here still. And then this is where we would officially get to the very back entrance of the Prancing Pony. And there you have it. We are now by the horses, the little horsies. Oh yeah, and of course there is a milestone here. So definitely get your milestone debris over here by the Prancing Pony. But that is all, everyone. I hope that you enjoyed this quick tour. I guess it's not quick, but I hope you enjoyed this tour of Bree-Town. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below. And of course, as always, stay weird, weirdos.